Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping in today. I'm back with a new layout for Hip Kit Club for Mixed Media Monday, and I'm using the 2020 September kits. This is my first layout using the September kits, and they're full of really beautiful fall colors. And for this layout, I went ahead and chose my photo first. It's a picture of my girls in the front seat of our little buggy that we used to go riding around in the woods. And I just thought they looked so cute with their hair fixed the same way and their head was turned the same direction. I was in the back seat. So I thought that was just a really cute picture. And it kind of has some fall vibes to it. And I believe we were riding around in November. So technically it is a fall photo, even though we're in tank tops and shorts, but that's okay. I'm going to use that really pretty dark teal cardstock as my background. And then I picked out some papers from the main kit and the paper kit that I thought I might use. I really love that Amy Tangerine vellum with the rose gold foiled flowers on it. And I liked this kind of wonky diagonal striped paper, and I wanted to incorporate that onto my background before I even got started. And so I thought that I would add a little bit of that over on the left hand side of the layout. So I'm going to just start there, and I thought I would just tear a little arc of the background paper off and then back it with this striped paper and kind of use that as a starting point. I know that my photo is going to go over on the left side of the background, and I thought that this would be a good starting point. That's kind of where I want my photo to go right there. Since they're both kind of tilting their heads looking toward the right, I wanted to have them on the left side of the paper so it looks kind of like they're looking across the page. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble this, and then I can get started with my background. Now, one of the most challenging things I've found about backgrounds, dark cardstock backgrounds and gesso, is that it's a whole different ballgame than using clear gesso on a white background, because you can see here the white, it dries pretty quickly and it's very, very visible on the dark background. So what I'm trying to do here is just kind of create a little bit of a white haze behind the area of where my picture is going to go. And I have to work fast. Even when I use my fingers to smudge, it's really hard to do that because of the contrast of the white gesso and the dark background. So I'm using my silicone brush there to really scrape it really fast. And I do have this sped up. I'm not going that fast, but I'm working as fast as I can to really scrape it into the background and get it blended so it creates the white space, but it also kind of has a white hazy edge around the perimeter of it. I want to do this with the gesso because I do want to add some mixed media to this before I add everything on top of it. And I don't wind up doing a lot of mixed media on this. I just feel like it doesn't need a lot because of the beautiful color of the background and the nature of everything else that I'm going to add. But you can kind of see there where I'm starting at. And some of this is going to be covered up because of all the stuff I'm going to add. But with the nature of adding color to a dark background like this, you know, you need a little bit of white space in order for it to show up, because in our color kit we got 3 magical powders from Lindy's Stamp Gang. And if you were to add any of those colors directly to this teal cardstock, who knows what color it's going to look like, you know? It's not going to look true to color. So by adding the white gesso, that kind of creates the white space for me. But before I do that, I want to pick out my embellishments. And there are a ton of papers and embellishments and things from 2 different brand new collections. The Maggie Holmes Marigold collection, which is what that big chipboard sheet is from, and then the Pinkfresh Studio Days of Splendor. And both of these are just filled with beautiful fall colors and patterns and images and things. So that's where I'm going to start. And when I saw that little chipboard deer, I fell in love with the deer. And I don't really tend to use cute little animals a lot on my layouts because I feel like my layouts don't really call for it, I guess, depending on the photos or the theme that I'm going for, but they just kind of went with this. They went with my outdoor photo, And there are a lot of deer, believe it or not. There is this chipboard one, there's one on a pattern paper, and then there are several little ones in the Maggie Holmes sticker book that we get. So I'm going to actually use a couple of deer. I was kind of surprised at how this layout turned out for me, because it incorporates a lot of things that I don't normally use. So it was fun to kind of step out of my box of making a summer layout and to create something with a completely fall vibe, which I tend to struggle with because I don't really have a lot of fall photos, and you know, typically these aren't the colors that I go for, but I made it work for me, and I think it turns out really cute. All I'm doing here is getting together the layers of pattern papers that I'm going to put behind my pictures. And you just saw me go through those and cut and tear those earlier. I want a little bit of that golden color, a little bit of blue, and a little bit of pink showing. And then I wanted a little bit more of that bright bubblegum pink, so I cut a strip of that from that brush stroke striped pattern paper to glue on the top and the bottom so you can kind of see it peeking. And I want to have the deer kind of coming out from the right side of the photo, because the deer are looking toward the left, and so it's perfect. Since my girls are looking toward the right, I want the deer kind of looking to the left, so it looks like the deer are looking at the photo. I thought, okay, this is perfect, I'm gonna go with it. I cut that pink flower at the bottom there from a Pocket Life card, and then the second deer I cut from a pattern paper, and I'm gonna glue those together because I want them kind of layered. And I guess they're girl deer. They have on pink bows, but who knows? Who really cares what color the bow is? I was going to use it anyway. But, so here's where I start with the mixed media on the background. I decided to go with the Clam Bake beige color, and this powder is really cool. It looks golden, but there are little specks of pink and blue powders mixed in, and you don't know this until you add the water and see it come to life. And I've said this before, but now I see why these are called magicals, because it's like all these magical colors appear when you think it's just one color. So all I'm trying to really accomplish here is just getting a soft yellow on the background. And I've used the Lindy's before with this Liquitex white gesso, and the colors always fade. Something about the mixture of these pigments on top of this specific gesso, but this is the only white gesso I have, so I have to use it. But this is going to dry a way lighter than it looks. Looks really golden and really yellow, but I knew going into it that it was going to soften up quite a bit because I've done this combination in the past. And you can see exactly what I'm talking about right there. It's just a very soft, light yellow golden tint. So it takes away that stark white of the gesso, and I like that. And so far, that's where I'm going to leave it. Now, I can't resist adding white splatters to a dark background like this. I love the effect of it. And so the easiest way to do that is, for me, is just to water down some white acrylic paint and then just go to town with the brush splattering. And it's such a cool effect because it shows up so well because the background is so dark. And it's perfect if you're trying to create snow, but obviously this is not a snow layout, and I don't even care. I just wanted white splatters on there because I love how it looks. And, you know, I guess it could be snow, but in Florida, who am I kidding? Obviously there's no snow in that picture. But even when I take my paper towels and roll it over to dry it, it stays white, and I love that because I've used white sprays in the past, and they kind of disappear when they dry. So white acrylic paint, to me, is the best way to add white splatters. So now I'm going to bring everything back and kind of start to go through more stickers. These are the stickers from Pinkfresh Studio, and I like that sticker that says Family Time. It matches the background perfectly, so I'm going to use that somewhere. These are from Jen Hadfield, really cute set of stickers that have all kinds of fun images. I'm going to use a couple of floral clusters there. And I wind up adding a lot more pink into this layout than I had originally planned. I knew that I was going to have a lot of neutral colors, like the beige and the yellow because of all the deer. And I find a couple of little squirrels that I want to use. Who am I? I'm using a squirrel on a layout. If you'd have told me 15 minutes ago before I started this layout that I was going to have a squirrel on my layout, I would have laughed and said, yeah, right. I don't do squirrels on my layouts. But you know what? There's going to be a squirrel on this page. And I felt like the animals needed some ground to stand on, so I did a little stitching there on my sewing machine with some white thread, because just look at the difference there. I feel like the animals need some ground, you know? They can't just be floating off into space. They need to stand somewhere. So an easy fix for that is just a little bit of stitching. Or if you don't have a sewing machine or don't want to stitch, you could just draw a line with a pen or a marker. Just give them a little something. I feel like it makes a big difference. And it looks kind of like snowy ground. So maybe this does turn out to look like a winter layout instead of a fall layout, but I still like it regardless. And here's the little squirrel. Now, I do use quite a bit of stickers from that sticker book that's right there on the left. That's from Maggie Holmes' Marigold. And most of the stickers in there are clear stickers. Even though they have color, you can see through them. If you were to stick them right onto this green paper, you really wouldn't be able to see them. So that's why I'm putting them on white cardstock first and then cutting them out, because the white is going to keep all of these stickers true to the color that they are. And I was so excited that I found a whole row of little baby deer in there. So guess what? We're going to use another deer. I kind of went deer crazy. Yep, we have 2 bigger deer, and now we're going to have a baby. Maybe it's a family and they just all like pink. I don't know. And then here's going to be a random little squirrel that looks like he's holding a bouquet of flowers. I don't know. He's facing the right direction. He's looking toward the deer and toward the photo, so he's going to make this page. And these are some little circle chipboard stickers from Pinkfresh Studio that matched. I'm going to wind up using 2. And I did cut another one of the vellum flowers to go above the photo, because I felt like the bottom of the photo was getting kind of heavy with things and the top really didn't have anything. So I wanted a couple of things to go up there. And then I wanted to add a couple more pops of pink. So I do that with thread, and I'm just going to roll it up and kind of tuck it up underneath the right corner of the photo there, so it kind of trickles out from underneath everything in that area. And I'm going to do the same thing up on the upper left-hand corner right there at the top, because I felt like that area lacked a little bit of color, so I felt like pink would work there. So I'm going to do the same thing there, and then continue on with the embellishing. I'm going to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to go. I'm going to pop up a couple of things, the deer and the squirrel, with some adhesive foam there. And I like how this is looking, so I'm going to start to glue things down. Yeah, at this point, I had forgotten that nothing was glued down. So that's what we're going to work on next. Yeah, my top thread's stuck there, so I'm going to have to reposition that. But I'm using the Scotch Tacky Glue. I get that question a lot. Scotch Tacky Glue, and I put it in the fine liner bottle, which I love. I've used the same glue in the same bottle for years, and it has worked really, really well. If you are interested in getting a fine liner bottle, you can find those online at Amazon. They come in 2 different sizes. You want the one with a yellow label because the needle opening is a little bit larger, and this glue was able to get through it. I know some people have bought the blue label and they can't get anything to come out of it. The needle is super tiny, so it's very hard to get any type of scrapbooking glue through it. So I suggest getting the yellow label. So we're gluing down. That's what we're doing here. We're going to keep gluing. Everything is in its spot. I don't really move anything around. Some things are popped up, some things are flat on the background for dimension. And even though a lot of things on this layout are actual stickers, I still add glue behind those because things never really want to stick well to gesso. So then I was getting some gold vibes, and I pulled out this beautiful set of puffy gold thickers, words and shapes and things, and I'm going to add a couple of those in some spots. My title is actually going to come from this as well, and I love these thickers because they're the perfect texture. They're really soft and kind of bendable, and the gold finish is perfect. They're not too shiny, they're not too matte. They're what I would call the perfect gold. And they, I love that they're soft, you know, you can, you know, because some thickers are chipboard, or even the foam can be really, really rigid sometimes, but these are soft and yeah. almost squishy, which are awesome. So I'm going to use this sweet as my title. And I think I've used the word sweet as a title probably about 500 times. And I don't even care. You know, I'm not that picky when it comes to repeating titles. If I've used a title before, it's okay. In this case, you know, I wanted to use a gold title. I loved that sweet was the perfect size, the perfect font. I like how it angled upwards. So it's going to kind of get tucked in there, and that's where it's going to go. And then I'm going to add a couple of nope, those aren't flowers, hearts around in a couple spots to add more pops of gold. And I do wind up adding a floral cluster behind the top part of the S of sweet because it kind of gets lost in the vellum gold leaf where it is behind there. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about there. I added a little sticker from Jen Hadfield just to kind of separate it and make the S a little more visible. But I love how that looks, and I like how it's kind of, everything's kind of angling in toward a point as you go to the right, kind of like a side triangle. And I hadn't even really planned on that, it just happened. And I felt like I needed to put something under the word sweet. So I'm going to go back to that Maggie Holmes sticker book, and I thought the cameras would work really well. And again, I'm going to put them on some white cardstock first and cut them out so they stay true to their color. Since these are kind of, I think the big one here is kind of a dark burnt brownish orange color, and if I was to stick that directly onto the green background, it would turn really, really dark brown. So in order for it to stay clear, or not clear, but the color that it is, I'm going to put it on the white cardstock. And then I'm going to combine this little piece of this, this is from a cut apart sheet, it says Sunshine. I'm just going to use the sunshine part. So Sweet Sunshine, even though this isn't a pool photo, I'm going to use it. I like the way it looks. I like the way it contrasts with the sweet font, and I like how it nestles. Again, I'm giving Jen Scow a shout out. I've been on a nestling kick lately because of her. I like how it nestles underneath where the W goes, and then underneath the E and the E and the T. And then I'm going to kind of wedge the little cameras up there to fit as well. And then I'm going to add a couple of flowers. And again, I'm going to cut them off of the white cardstock. And then I wanted a pop of this pink that's not in the Maggie Holmes sticker book, or on a smaller flower anyway. So I'm going to cut this off of one of the Jen Hadfield stickers. I'm going to pop a couple things up down there with some foam, the big camera, and one of the flowers. And then get that all glued down. Now I'm getting to the point where I feel like, okay, this is where I need supervision again. I need to scale back on the adding of things because it's getting to be a lot, especially down at the bottom, you know. But everything was just working and everything was matching, and I was just on a roll, and I just went with it, you know. Sometimes you just have to go with what you're feeling and what you like at the time, and you know, it's your layout. If you want to add it on there, do it. So that's what I did. I just followed my heart and added all the things. Now the top part, I thought, okay, do I need to go back up to the top and add more things? And I actually don't. I leave it alone. I felt like I had done enough. But I like how this looks. It's very different for me. This whole month's kit is different for me. I usually tend to struggle, like I said earlier, with the fall and wintry type theme things. But I think this turned out, for me, I think it turned out well. And I added a couple more phrase stickers there at the top and the bottom. And then the last thing to do is add journaling. So I'm going to use my T-square ruler for that. And I just decided to do it there kind of to the right of the title, and then I'm going to use my white Jelly Roll pen to do that. And I do add the date after I turn the camera off, but that is it. That's the final layout. I really like how this turned out. Despite it not being my go-to theme and colors and things, I feel like it worked great. I fell in love with the little animals. Look at the little squirrel and the deer. They're so cute. And I think this just screams gold. I needed gold. I'm so glad that there was a lot of gold added in. this month. And I did add some gold splatters after I finished filming, and that was from the Jen Hadfield Gold Glitter Spray. I think we got that last November, but it's still going strong and I still use it quite a bit. But all the close-ups here, you can see my fall snow. Is it snow? Is it not? That's up to you to decide. But I just like the way it looks. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I hope this inspires you in some way, and I will see you in my next video. I hope you guys have a great week, and thank you so much for watching.